I just saw you and I just wanted to come over and say hi. So this is kind of creating a moment. It's creating a lot of tension because I'm holding her hands. She's like, imagine she's just a stranger. I'm holding hands with a complete stranger. Like, if she pulls away, pull away. That means she's just not comfortable. But some women will be comfortable, some won't. And if you can hold that tension, it's going to be more powerful because it's going to be sexual tension. Showing your intention right away, not having to hide it, not feeling ashamed of your attraction for her, and just being outright and open and honest. Honesty is another thing that women find very attractive. A lot of women have been burned at some point, been lied to by a man or cheated on. Right away, you're showing you're honest. You're not hiding anything. You're just saying, hey, listen, this is why I'm talking to you, because I'm a man, you're a very attractive woman, and I wanted to unapologetically talk to you, hit on you, approach you, compliment you, because it shows your confidence. Just the fact that you walked up to her shows confidence, but doing it this way is going to show a lot more confidence because it shows that you're not hiding anything. It shows honesty. It shows courage. Courage, do you guys know the definition of courage? Being afraid of something or having some fear, some hesitation, but doing it anyway. Going for it anyway. That's what we're doing here, right? So giving a genuine compliment is going to work much better than using something indirect. At 9 out of 10 times or even more. Because the other reason is people are in a hurry. Women are in a hurry during the day. If you go up to her and you're like, hey, I need your opinion on something. My friend, his girlfriend just cheated on him and should he take her back? And you're just making up something, whether it's true or not, but usually it's probably not going to be true. Something you read online to do or say. You're wasting her time. She's just like, what? Why is this guy talking to me? Why is he asking me out of all these people? It's weird, it's awkward. Instead, cut to the chase. Don't waste her time. Don't waste your time either. There's more women for you to talk to. Don't waste time talking to one woman and having this 10-minute conversation when it turns out she's got a boyfriend, you hid your interest, so she didn't tell you that she had a boyfriend, and you had this long interaction with her and it didn't go anywhere. It's better to find out within 30 seconds. Is she in a relationship? Yes? Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's look for somebody else.
Yeah.
So during the day, people are doing things. Women are busy. They're usually not just sitting there waiting for a guy to talk to them. Isn't that right? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to acknowledge the situation. I call it acknowledging the reality. Because if you just walk up, and let's say she is walking really fast, and you say, hey, you're cute. What's your name? She's probably going to acknowledge you and talk to you, but there's a good chance she could just be like, thank you, but can't you see I'm in a hurry? People are doing things during the day, so you just have to acknowledge what they're doing. So instead you say, hey, I know you're in a hurry, but I just had to tell you something. So what else could women be doing during the day?
Shopping, eating.
Shopping. So how would you acknowledge the reality?
You know, if you're gonna go ahead and compliment them or.
How would you acknowledge the reality? What would you say?
Hey, I see you're shopping.
Exactly. Yeah, you just say it. It's so easy. You just say what she's doing, right? What else? What else could she be doing?
On the phone.
On the phone. Okay, so what would you do there? What would you say?
Hey, I know you're on the phone.
Good.
Real quick.
Good. Now, the thing about the phone though is it can be a little bit rude. Even if you acknowledge that she's on the phone, hey look, I know you're on the phone, but I wanted to come say hi. It's still a little rude, isn't that right? So you want to acknowledge the fact that it's a little rude to interrupt somebody on the phone. So you acknowledge what she's doing, but you can also acknowledge what she's thinking or feeling. Now, we're not mind readers, but you can assume in certain situations, right? Like on the phone, okay, that's a little rude, just acknowledge it. She's not going to think it's rude if you say it first. She could be checking her voicemail. You don't know. Now, if she's like yelling on the phone, okay, I probably wouldn't approach her then. There are some situations like that, but generally speaking, if she's doing something where it seems a little bit inappropriate, As long as it's not like completely inappropriate, like she's getting married right then and there, and you're like, hey, real quick, before you get married, like, come on, right? I've seen YouTube videos of, stupid people doing stuff like that. So the other reason you want to acknowledge the reality is because it takes more time. So if I say, hey, you're really cute. How long from the point that I got their attention did I say the compliment? How long did that take? I'll do it again. Hey, you guys are cute. Like 1 second, 2 seconds, something like that. Okay? So notice that. Versus, hey, real quick. This is really random. And I know you two are busy. I know you guys are eating. This is so rude, but I just saw you when I was walking by, and I had to come over and say, you're absolutely adorable. I just wanted to introduce myself. Something like that, right? How long did that take? From the moment I got their attention, or the moment I came up, to the moment I gave the compliment.
Like 20 seconds?
About 20 seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds. Much difference, right? Did you guys see the difference? Even feel the difference?
No.
It's a big difference. So what happens there is some tension. It creates some tension, that pausing. Because if I don't do that, it's kind of like, it's like a comedian who doesn't build up the joke, and then like maybe you see a comedian on stage and you try to tell your buddy the same joke and he's like, well, I don't get it. That's not funny. It's because you didn't create that tension. You didn't have that same build up, right? So what we're doing here is we're building that up, building that tension. She doesn't know what you're gonna say up until that point. She might be thinking that you're going to ask for money. Hopefully you don't look like somebody that would ask for money. But she might think you're trying to sell her something. She might think you're going to ask her to do a survey, right? There's all those people selling things and doing surveys. She doesn't know what you're going to say, so it creates tension. And because you're a man and she's a woman, especially if you're close. If she's sitting down, there's less tension, but if she's close, then we're going to do some examples later, then it creates sexual tension. That's what you want. That's not going to be a friendly conversation. With that kind of interaction, you're not going to end up in the friend zone. But let's say she's eating, right? Same thing. It's the same exact thing. Hey, listen, I know you girls are eating, and I know it's really rude to interrupt somebody while they're eating, but I just had to tell you, and then whatever it is that you had to tell them, whatever it is that you wanted to say, the compliment, the genuine, sincere compliment.
After that, do you gauge like their reaction, whether you like continue talking or like leave? Like when do you make a decision of what to do next?
What do you think?
I think I've stayed too long before, and
so good point. During the day, people are busy. You got to see what they're doing. Also notice the reaction. If she seems really busy, she's like on her way to work. If she tells you like, hey, listen, I got to get to work in like 2 minutes, then you're going to keep it very short. But if you ask, so what are you up to right now? And she says, oh, nothing. I'm a tourist. I'm just walking around. I have nothing to do all day. Then you don't have to think, okay, I better go. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. She'll give you that indicator. Right. She'll give you that indicator. Does that make sense?
But in the case of like a couple of people having a meal.
So if you're going to stand, let's say it's 2 girls having a meal. If I'm standing and they're sitting, this situation isn't very ideal because I'm less comfortable than them, right? You two look pretty comfortable, and I'm standing, I'm less comfortable, okay? If there's nowhere to sit, and I have to stand the whole time, then I'm gonna keep it very short. I'm gonna keep it very short. I'm not gonna have a 10-minute interaction, I'm not gonna even have a 5-minute interaction. I'm gonna keep it 2 to 3 minutes, max. Maybe not even that long. Okay. If they're like, obviously, like in the middle of eating, like their food's already there, I'm probably gonna say, look, I saw you here. I know this is totally rude, but I had to come over and say hi to your friend here. Hi, nice to meet you. Listen, I gotta run. I would do a quick qualifier, which we'll get into in a second, and then get her phone number and go. That's it. It'd be like a minute.
So you
because of the situation. Now, if there's somewhere to sit, that could be totally different. I'm gonna gauge their reaction. If they're like, oh, hi, where are you from? If they're asking me questions, then that's an indicator that they want to stay. The indicators that they're really interested in you and they want you to stay are really obvious usually. Now, if you're not getting those indicators, that doesn't mean she's not attracted to you. That just means the situation isn't ideal for you to stay. Like, the girl could be really attracted to me, but she's like she's having lunch with her mother or something like that, you know? And she doesn't want to be rude and just like talk to me for 10 minutes and ignore her mom, right? But she could be really attracted to me, so I'm going to keep it really short. Does that make sense? The indicators are very obvious. It's not like, you know, the old, if you guys read like Mystery Method, where like, oh, she touched her hair and, you know, she touched her elbow, like things like that. Those don't mean anything. Don't worry about those. We're talking about obvious things. Make sense? Like she's asking you questions, or she's touching you, or she gives you a really long handshake, things like that that are pretty obvious. And also time constraint, okay? Do you guys know what time constraining is? It's just saying, hey, real quick, that's a time constraint. I gotta get going. Just saying, I have to go in a second. I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. Okay, so I'll start, hey, real quick, and then acknowledge whatever she's doing, whatever she could potentially be thinking. I say this all the time. I say this is totally random, because it is for her. It's not random for me at all. But it's random for her. I guarantee you, it doesn't happen. Women don't get approached during the day very often. It's pretty rare. And if they do, it's not the way we're doing it. It's like a really indirect way, a really cheesy way, or it's like, damn girl, like things like that. Damn beautiful, and it's not an approach. It's just like she's walking by and they look at her and they yell. So this is very random. Or you could say unexpected. If it's in a situation that's a little awkward, I'll give you some examples. She's with a big group. She's in a lingerie store. She is, what else could be awkward? I don't know. Not that many things are awkward, but let's take the lingerie store. You want to acknowledge that. Hey, look, this is really awkward. Right? Hey, real quick, this is totally awkward, but I was just walking by and I had to tell you. And then the compliment. You were absolutely beautiful. I kick myself if I didn't say hi. You can also acknowledge your reality too. What could your reality be? Well, notice in that example, I was just walking by and I noticed you. That's my reality. You can also acknowledge the way you're feeling, which could be nervous, or it could be, I don't usually do this, if that's true. Don't say it if you've been doing this over and over again. I did that one time. I said, I don't usually do this. And the girl says, I can tell you do this a lot. Damn it, I got called out. You called me on my bullshit. Okay, so if you're feeling nervous, it's much better to acknowledge it. It's much better to say it than to say, hi, I just saw you here and I wanted to say hi. Just say, look, I don't usually do this. I'm actually kind of nervous, but I had to come over and give you a compliment.